FTB Film Study is presented by PAM Health, the official rehabilitation partner of Penn State Football. PAM Health provides elite-level inpatient and outpatient physical care at over 70 hospitals across the country. Learn more at pamhealth.com.
Welcome into another For the Bloggy Film Study. Today, we are going to be talking the art of pass protection. Now, Penn State kept Drew Allar relatively clean in the pocket in 2024, and that was in large part due to their ability to make great pass pro adjustments at the line of scrimmage. And having played with Drew Allar and played on this offensive line, I know how Penn State operates their pass pro game. So today, I'm going to show you how a top-tier offense navigates the cat and mouse game of adjusting to pass pro protections versus unique defensive looks. Hit that subscribe button and like button if you are enjoying the content, and let's get right into the tape. All right, this first clip is against Illinois, and they show pressure and then drop and only bring four. Drew Allar gets it out. Let's go inside the mind of Drew Allar and talk about what he is saying. So you see Drew right here makes a call, and what he does is he basically IDs this inside linebacker right here. And what that tells the offensive line is that these three, 1, 2, 3, these guys are sliding for these three. So 3 for 3, that is their responsibility. You're even going to see this, Donko. He's talking with Vanga and says, hey, I have him. This is the biggest thing. They say over-communicate. Make sure you are 100% sure this guy has this guy, etc. So then you see Drew turns the Nick and he says, hey, lock 34, lock 34. What that means, now let's talk the left side. We are in 60 protection, which is 6-man protection. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then Nick is the 6th guy in this protection. So these two, the left guard and the left tackle, know that they are locked. Left guard has slide down and get this defensive tackle. Drew Shelton knows that this is his man no matter what. He's locked on the defensive end. So what Drew is saying is, hey, Nick, you are locked on this linebacker. He is your first priority. Make sure he does not come. If he does, go pick him up in the hole. So that's how he ran it so far. Watch Nick Singleton's eyes. So Nick, as soon as he sees this linebacker drop into coverage, remember, it's a 6-man protection. So Nick is still in this protection. His eyes snap over. You see his eyes. He goes, okay, that guy dropped. I'm good there. Is there anybody else that I can help? No one else I can help? Okay, everybody dropped. All right, boom. Now I'm going to give a chip, and he tries to go get out and give Drew maybe someone to dump it off to. So that is the initial kind of cat and mouse game of them showing something and then dropping to just a 4-man pressure. All right, we're still looking at Illinois here. One of the most memorable plays from last year for Nick Singleton, has a great play. But initially, let's talk about the pass protection and how this is set up. So Drew's talking, shouts out to Doc. And so the call that he gives here is, let's call it Larry, an L word. He tells these 4 offensive linemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, that they are all going to slide to the left. So what that means is that Vanga right here has this guy. Doc has 41, guard right here has 6, and then Shelton's out on 9. So basically it is a 4 for 4 slide. These 4 for these 4, and then Donko is man on man back here. So if you notice, the one guy that was not circled, 28, Drew Allar knows that if 28 comes, he's hot off him. Whenever you say a quarterback is hot off someone, that means if they blitz, the quarterback knows, I got to get it out. I don't have anybody that can protect me from this guy. So he sets up that 4-man pass protection. And then what else he does too is we have Nick Singleton out here split out in kind of a wing position. And what he is he is actually here. Remember, we had Donko just one-on-one with 17. He's here to either chip and help Donko, or if this safety comes off the edge, that's an extra blocker. So if this safety, and if Nick Singleton wasn't here, then Drew Allar would be hot off 2 guys. He'd be hot off 28, and he'd be hot off this safety coming. So let's make Drew's life easier. We split Nick out. We take away this, Drew being hot off the guy out here. He's only hot off 28. They drop. So they're only bringing 4 across the board. And remember, hey, Nick Singleton can help chip. Bow! You want to talk about a chip? Remember talking to Anthony Donko about this one. He said, I didn't know what to do. Nick hit him so hard, I thought he was going to get a personal foul. Turns up field. Good play. Way to adjust. All right, now we're going to SMU, where they brought some complex blitzes and did a fairly good job picking them up. So Drew Allar starts in empty. Let's just talk about when you're a quarterback and you're assessing this. All right, so I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blockers. Problem is SMU has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys up. So the math is not mathing. Drew Allar says, hey, Nick Singleton waves him in. We need you to come back in from the slot. Tells the offensive line. You see how Drew gets up, tells the offensive line. You see Doc's kind of receiving the call from that left ear. And what Drew Allar is saying is big, big. Big means that everybody has basically the man in front of them. And this is where you really have to communicate. But these are the responsibilities. These 5 for these 5. That is your man. No matter what, you are locked on him. So then Drew Allar turns to Nick. You see he's whispering to Nick. So we know those 5 have those 5. He says to Nick, hey, if this guy comes right here, this safety linebacker, you need to come over here and pick him up. That is your one responsibility. Go handle that. So Nick says, all right, got it. You see, he does the little point right there. He says, all right, I got him. I understand. Lets Drew Allar know, all right, we're in a good place protection-wise. Let's snap the ball. And sure enough, exactly what we think happens. Everybody gets their man. We got a little bit of a combo pass-off block here. They do a great job. But the biggest thing here, and this is why running backs are so important, brought Nick Singleton in, does a great job picking up this blitzing linebacker coming through, holds him back, and let Drew Allar fire one out there. We missed the pass, but great job scheming up the protections to not give them a free blitzer. All right, now we're still talking SMU, but let's talk about where the pass protection wasn't good enough. So once again, start out in empty. And this is where SMU saw empty, and they were like, hey, we're going to bring blitz if they come in empty. So Drew Allar's moving guys around. He has to move this around because he wants to, once again, bring the running back into the protection, but he's got to kind of get everybody situated. Now, this is a part of pass protection. He's moving guys around, all this type of stuff. The play clock is ticking. We are under 10 seconds. Does not have a lot of time to set this up. So let's talk about the offensive line and where they are at. Once again, we are in big, that big where he has him, center's on the nose, guard has him, tackle has him, right? Okay, so once again, what we see is we have 5, 6 blockers. K-Tron's the 6th. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blitzers. All right, we're not in a bad place, but then this safety is also coming. So now we're talking 7 blitzers. Drew Allar, if he had time, he doesn't, because this is part of the fight. You have the play clock. He could kind of bring Tyler Warren in and attach him and maybe block him on to this guy. So then we'd have 7 blockers. But you're fighting the play clock. You don't have time to do that. Drew Allar says, hey, we just got to roll. So you got 5 for 5, and what Kaytron Allen is doing is basically scanning. And he is taking the most important guy, basically the guy that has the quickest path to Drew Allar. So he's scanning around, sees kind of what happens over here. This is the bait. This guy fake comes to kind of bait Drew Shelton and then bails out to get in the passing lane. So he bails. Drew kind of gets caught off guard last second, has to wheel back, can't get to him. So Kaytron Allen says, hey, I'm going to come help you. Problem is, once again, this guy's coming free off of the edge. So not able to get it out, and you are sacked. So didn't have enough time, right? Drew Allar didn't have the time on the play clock to be able to tell Tyler Warren to come in and attach. So let's talk about the next part of pass protection, which is a hot route. A hot route is something quick that a blitz is coming, and let's say Drew Allar knows if everybody comes, I'm hot off this guy. We talked about being hot off someone earlier. That means if he comes, I know if I'm Drew Allar, I have to get rid of it because no one is there to block him for me. So a hot route would be Tyler Warren maybe doing a quick little curl right here, a little 3-4 yard curl, being quarterback friendly, sitting down. And the reason why we should have that is because there is this guy's playing, more than 10 yards off coverage. So Drew should have given something real quick to Tyler Warren, put him on a hot route to give him a quick little pass right here. The problem is everybody is running these longer routes. We got a post, we got a wheel, we got Tyler running a deep post here, a comeback. All the routes are too long. So that's the next step of pass protection, giving yourself a quick out if you are a quarterback to just dish it out, get the ball out of your hands, and live to see another down.
FTB Film Study is presented by PAM Health, the official rehabilitation partner of Penn State Football. PAM Health provides elite-level inpatient and outpatient physical rehabilitation at over 70 hospitals across the country. We strive to make a meaningful impact in the lives of our patients by facilitating extraordinary outcomes and quality results in a compassionate and caring environment. Learn more at pamhealth.com.
All right, this is against USC, and D'Anton Lynn for USC, the defensive coordinator, brought some great looks in this game. So let's talk about what we have. Drew Allar comes up to the line. He's barking orders. You see Anthony Donko right here, kind of, when you're watching tape, you can kind of decipher what happens. He is saying, hey, guys, slide right. So what that means is that Donko is going to be on 10, right guard's on 98, Doc right here, the center, has 23. Then backside, let's talk the left side of the line. They are locked. Left guard has this defensive tackle. Drew Shelton has the defensive end. Now, what's he saying to Kaytron? Kaytron's saying, hey, I can't hear. It is hard on the road sometimes to decipher everything. What he tells Kaytron is, you have the most dangerous man that comes. So we have these taken care of right here. So if I'm Kaytron, I am worried about either 4 or I'm worried about 8. Those are his 2 responsibilities. He has to do what we call scan. So we have a slide to the right with the 2 guys on the left side locked on these 2 linemen. So let's roll it here. And what I want you to do is watch Kaytron Allen's eyes. First thing that he's looking at is he's looking at 4, because when 4 is lined up right here, he has the quickest path to Drew Allar. So that's why his eyes are going to be on 4 first. So he sees that 4 loops out. So he goes, okay, not a super important responsibility right now. Now I'm Kaytron Allen. I scan back over here. I'm looking over here. Is anything coming? No, nothing's coming. Okay, let me go back to 4. And now this is great movement. Slide all the way across the line of scrimmage. Stone 4 in his tracks. And by the way, this is 4th down with the game on the line. And Kaytron Allen has a hell of a block. And we get the ball to Julian Fleming. 1st down. Drive continues, and most importantly, the season continues. All right, we talked about one season-saving play against USC. Let's talk about the next one, another play that kept the drive alive and that Drew Allar really made it happen. So let's talk about what we got here. Once again, on the road, this is the hardest part, to get this type of communication. You know, at home, Drew Allar doesn't have to come up and talk to the offensive line. He can bark orders from back here. But this is what he's got to do. It's hard to hear. So what he tells the offensive line is, and I'll tell you what, Nick Singleton never really looks confident here. But once again, we are big. They are man on man. So here, 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 and here. So once again, it's these 5 for these 5. Nick Singleton is being told, hey, once again, similar to Kaytron Allen the last one, you got to scan a little bit. You either have 0 or you have 10. Whoever comes, whoever's the most dangerous, take them. So what USC does is they bail both of these guys out. So instantly, Sal Wormley turns his head and tries to come knock 99 off and kind of start this domino effect to get Nick Dawkins off to number 10. That does not happen. It doesn't need to happen, because Nick Singleton should be able to squeeze down and take 10. Now, this is the problem. This is where things are complicated and guys get confused, especially on the road. I don't know if Nick Singleton didn't hear or didn't understand it, but you see he starts to kind of come down and then just stops and then realizes last second, oh crap, this is supposed to be my guy. Tries to get on his backside and kind of shove him. And I think that shove does just enough to let Drew Allar get a little bit more space. Drew Allar actually has the ball tucked on this, completely tucked, untucks it, fires one to Julian Fleming, and keeps the season alive. You can see how complex pass pro can be at times. All right, now we're going to Boise State, where Penn State really struggled with blitz pickup, especially with this double mug axe blitz. So let's talk about what we got here. Drew Allar comes up. He's barking orders at the line. You see Nick Dawkins point. So what he did is ID 10, right? So what that tells everybody is that we are going to – Nick Dawkins is going to come over here, slide this way. Venga Ioane is right here. Drew Shelton, this is your man. Now you see Sal Wormley and Nolan Rucci talking. Nolan Rucci's, Sal Wormley says, hey, I got 98. Nolan Rucci's out here on 91. So everybody kind of has their man, and Nick Singleton knows, hey, 23, if he comes, he is mine. So this is what we have right now. This is the pass protection. What the problem is that Boise State here is running Axe Blitz, which basically means that Axe creates an X. 23 is going to come down and pick Nick Dawkins 10 loops around. That is their jobs. So earlier we talked about, hey, Nick was told you are sliding to 10. That is your man. So he's not even looking at 23. Nick has to say, okay, I'm going to come and pick up 23. Well, the problem is he picks Doc, and Nick says, okay, that's fine. I'll take 10. But Doc isn't ready for it because he's not expecting that to be his man. So it causes so much problems when you run this Axe Blitz and you don't have anything to pick it up because, like I said, Nick is not expecting 23 to be coming in here and blitzing and kind of attacking him. Didn't have a plan for it, and then, boom, we're looking at a sack. If we go back and you want to talk about, hey, Landon, how would we fix this? It would be very similar. We'd come out here. It'd be the same thing. Rucci's out here. Wormley's right here. Vanga's got 90. Drew Shelton has 5. Now what we would do, instead of just IDing 10 and having Doc slide right here, we would actually tell Doc to pop, what we call pop. He would get vertical, get straight back, and basically allow it to kind of work itself out. He gets straight back and so doesn't slide, and then he is able to kind of take 23 and, have eyes on him. Doc is thinking, hey, either or could come, so I'm going to pop and get vertical. Doc could then absorb 23, take him, and then he'll have good control of him. And then when Nick comes over here, he can actually take 10 and feel confident in that. So that is how you draw it up to fix it. And we're going to look right here next play how to block up this split double mug. All right, this last play is against Washington, and they had some complex looks as well. Let's talk about how we schemed up this pass pro. And this is real cat and mouse game right here. All right, so he motions Kaytron Allen out. And basically what Drew Allar and Codutti are trying to do is get them to get out of this split double mug look where they got 2 backers pressed up. And right now we talked about numbers game. With Kaytron Allen out here, Washington has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. So Drew says, all right, that's not going to work. Hold on, Kaytron. Come back in. We're going to take, this is part of, like I said earlier, when you have time on the play clock, you can respond to the cat and mouse game. If you don't have time, that's where defenses can get you. So he says, all right, Kaytron, come back in. So now we have 6 blockers for 6 defenders. And so what he does is, right here, is there is a ID. You see Doc. You see that hand right there? Slight hand points up and IDs 13. So that lets the offensive line know, hey, we're going, Roger to the right. That means a 3-man slide. So right tackle's here, right guard's here, and then Dawkins is right here, the center. That lets Kaytron Allen know, hey, this is my man if he comes. Banga Yowane locked on this defensive tackle. Drew Shelton's out here, left tackle on 42. So we let the play roll, and you see actually this works out in our favor because they run a twist over here. Dawkins is right there to pick it up, and Kaytron Allen comes right down and does a great job picking up this blitz coming down and dealing with this double mug blitz. So like I said, it's always complex. It's not easy to be able to kind of navigate pass protection in this world, but this is the cat and mouse game that you see of having to motion guys back in, move them around, and be ready for stunts, blitz, and all these different twists that you will see out of different defenses.